All right, good morning, traders. Today it's December 4th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Hey, thank you. Hey, good morning, Sharon. Hey, good morning. Thank you to everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for following my content. Thank you for liking my content. Thank you for subscribing to my content. Appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. Love that. And thank you so much for sharing the content. So special shout out to Kathy Sarah Roasted, Bob Jordan, and John Jordan. Thank you so much sharing the content. All right, let's take a look at the market today. Got a few announcements. Okay, so members e-learning today. So you're going to find me in the combo room at noon. All right, that's when Doug starts. And then I do an hour presentation at 1. Rick does one at 2. If you want to know how to get to the combo room, you log into your hit and run candlesticks platform and you go to your BYOB member page. And then you just see combo room here. You just hit that. And then a new room will open up. You just log in, put your credentials in, and you're in just like that. It's very, very easy. And if you want to see where the videos are afterwards, okay, you go to resources, public webinars. Those are the public ones. And here's the e-learning. Open that up in a new tab. Okay, and here's all the old webinars that we have on Thursday. Okay, you can see here's one from me, Rick. Another one from Rick. Another one from me. Here's Ed. And another Rick. Another John. Another Doug. Okay, Ed, John. Okay, so notice there's 10 on each page. There's 33 pages. All right, so that's that's 310 on each page. It's 330 videos, all about an hour long. Some are a little less, some are a little more. Okay, so all right there. Okay, so you see where to find it in case you're looking for it in the future. Under resources, come down to e-learning replay right there. Okay, so move this out of the way. Again, today starts at noon, ends at 3. All right, we'll all probably be in the combo room. Black Friday sales, lifetime subscription, $39.95 regularly goes for $10,000. Okay, other Cyber Monday sale, annual for the price of $1,205. All right, and you get an extra 6 months for free. All right, so 18 months for the price of an annual. All right, so that's our Cyber Monday and our Black Friday sales. Okay, take advantage of those. You don't have to pay the monthly fee of like $125 a month. I think that works out to be about $68, $69 a month as opposed to $129. So if put it all out there on the first. All right, this morning made 2,950 yesterday, so my trading account's 32,950. Started out with a new 30K account. Okay, max risk for me today is 10% of my account. That's 32.95. Okay, daily goal is 1% of my account, so 330. That's my goal for today. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning, 682.30. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Silver made a new all-time high yesterday. All of the Fab 5 except for FNGU made higher highs, higher lows, closing over bullish traps over their 17 EMAs. FNGU made a lower high, lower low, closing inside the bullish trap over the 17. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend, mostly more like consolidation, but it did have the 3 and the candlesticks riding up over the 8. And a week 1 candle 10-minute downtrend. So we'll see what happens there. Gold still in a daily uptrend, made a higher high and a higher low, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. USO in a daily downtrend, made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish cross and over the 17 EMA. UNG in a daily uptrend, made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. US dollar index remains in I think they made a downtrend. We'll have to take a look at that. Okay, but they were in an uptrend, and they were close yesterday to converting a downtrend. Closed near the 99.89 area. They're still in that bear flag. Not sure if they're in an uptrend or a downtrend inside that flag. SPY max paying for today 683. Put the call ratio of right about one put for each call that expires today at 4:15. Remember, those index options expire at 4:15. Security options expire at 4 p.m. All right, let's take a look inside, see what's going on here today. Here's a little pre-market. Okay, so pre-market, this is the channel we broke out of yesterday. If you were with me, we had a huge red candle down at the open. It went from one side to the other side. It's like a $4 candle or $3.50, one 10-minute candle from one side of the channel clear down to the other side of the channel. Okay, now you know how I like to trade my bullish flags or bullish channels. Okay, it's take my arrows here. So I like to trade them from the bottom up to the top, from the bottom up to the top, bottom to the top. Okay, each time I get up to the top, I retain like another 10%. So on this trip up, for every first trip, I'll exit 90% of my position. Probably just trying to figure out where the top's going to be. Second time, maybe 90%. Third time, obviously, 80%, 70%. So I'm keeping a little more each time I make that trip up there. All right, that way in case price does break out. So we did have the breakout, not a very convincing breakout. They did get it done. As you can see, we did break up over the channel here. Okay, not a very convincing breakout. They got on top of the channel. The good thing is they didn't come down and re-enter it. And we're consolidating. We're still consolidating over all of the channel consolidation. So what I'm expecting is to form another channel. Okay, right up here, right around maybe 688. Okay, down to 684. That's what I'm hoping will happen. All right, we'll see. All right, we still haven't breached Woody's resistance here, 685.56. Got to get up over that first. I do like the idea that we're consolidating at the highs. That is a bullish environment right there. So I am bullish this morning. I will probably be picking off the lows, all right, of the 10-minute or the 5-minute option candles. All right, I will work on picking off the lows because I'm still bullish for price to go up and resume this 10-minute uptrend. Now they pulled back. They had a one candle downtrend right here, but you see it didn't go anywhere. All right, it just went there, stopped on the top of the channel, and then just went sideways. So all of this is just inside action all up here. So I'll be looking for breakout, okay, right over the top of that area right there. So breakout right on top of, just put a line right up there on top of those wicks, okay? Those little wicks, those little doji wicks, little spinning top wicks. So I'm looking for a breakout of that right there. All right, that's what I'm looking for this morning. And another 10-minute uptrend to initiate and resume and hopefully climb up to this 688 area. And then I would look for probably more consolidation like this up there. That's what I'm looking for. We'll see what happens, all right? But that's my plan this morning, okay? So there's SPY on the 10-minute in the pre-market. If we look at yesterday, you can see here we got a bearish cross. You got that one. There's the one candle downtrend. So you can see it didn't go anywhere. So we have a 1 candle downtrend right there. Let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. We'll pick up a clean one. So on the 2-hour chart, you can see just barely. I'll zoom way in. Okay, you can see the 3, which is the yellow line, and the candlesticks are riding on top of the 3. This is the close from yesterday. Candlesticks riding on the 3. All right, and there's space between the 3 and the 8. The 8 is the white line. The brown line is VWAP. Okay, so we got 2-hour uptrend coming into the close yesterday. Okay, just like really a continuation of the consolidation on the 2-hour chart. That's a nice bull flag. Again, trading bull flags from the bottom up to the top, from the bottom up to the top. So there's SPY on the 2-hour uptrend, and a weak 1 candle 10-minute downtrend on a daily chart. Okay, so back to do a little review here. Okay, remember this was big $20 red candle drop, scary as you know what. Okay, no follow through, right? And then the bulls see the weakness and they run off and make a new high. Okay, maybe it's deja vu. We'll see. This one $22 evil looking red candle to the downside. Okay, again, no follow through. The bulls smell some weakness and they rip it all the way back up again. Okay, so we're looking for them to make another new all-time high, and they're doing some of the right stuff. As you can see here, you got price action is moving up and then over to the right. I love it when they hold the higher ground. Okay, that's important to me, when price can move up and hold the higher ground. Okay, that's bullish. Okay, so yesterday's candle, let me make sure I get the right one. Okay, so that's today's candle. This is yesterday's candle. Got a higher low and a higher high. And notice here the trap, here's the yellow line. We close over the bullish trap and over, see now the 17's now starting to rise again. Over the rising 17 right there, okay? So there's SPY on the daily chart in that bull flag. Notice we got up here, 2 candles, and then we rolled over. See, now this is a welcoming sign to see price move up. And look, we got the 4 candle hold, okay? Usually if they can hold 4 candles up here, okay, we have a good chance of moving higher. See, 3 candles, and then they roll over. See, 3 candles, and then they roll over, okay? A little bit different right here. See this? 4 candle hold, working on a 5th, all right? There's a possibility we start rising up and start attacking those all-time highs. So we'll see. I like that. I even like that. See that 4 candle hold when I'm trading swing trades. Okay, like 1 candle, it could roll over. But when I get that 3 candle launch pad getting constructed on my, if I'm just trading single securities, I like that. For me, that's a big deal. All right, I like that. It might not, the breakout might not go anywhere, but at least it's holding that higher ground. Okay, it's a show of strength. Okay, like when I see that. Okay, so daily chart in an uptrend, because there's a high, and look, we made a higher high. See that highs over the 17. Okay, and we made a higher high, so we're in an uptrend. So if we look at it with the quad lines on, okay, I'll zoom way out here. See April low right here. And you come up here. Okay, this would be, this is where we're at right now. So we're at the top of quadrant 4. If you're in the upper third, that's bullish for me. Lower third is bearish. So we're in an uptrend, all right? And we're bullish because we're up here in the upper third. So we're bullish and in an uptrend on SPY daily chart, okay? Same thing on the weekly. Top of quadrant 4, bullish and in an uptrend. Nothing's broken yet. monthly chart, uh, bullish and in an uptrend right there. So for today, all right, like I said, I'm going to look to pick off the bottoms of those candles. Now, what's my favorite trade? Well, for me, my favorite trade is 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. Okay, that's the 3 on top of the 8. All right, rising up. Okay, so 3-minute uptrend over VWAP. I like it when it's better. It's better when it's over VWAP, and that resides inside a 2-hour uptrend that lives inside of a daily uptrend and a week inside the weekly, inside the monthly. All right, all over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, so we have a unique scenario today and yesterday for that to exist. Okay, because we got a 2-hour uptrend, we got a daily uptrend, we got a weekly uptrend, we got a monthly uptrend, and currently price action is, here's the all-time high anchored VWAP, is this pink line right here. We're up over that, and we're consolidating bullishly, just waiting for the launch to take off, okay? We're waiting for the countdown, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go, okay? So that's what I like, 10-minute uptrend. Yesterday, what did we trade? Okay, let's look over here. We had a 10-minute, see the 3 on top of the 8. All right, got the candles riding on top of the 3. So we had a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. This would be VWAP, this brown line right here. Okay, so we had a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. If you're with me, we had that red candle that came down in the pre-market, and I said I will look to pick off the bottoms, the lows of the option candle, all right? And I'm going to ride this thing back up to the top of the channel. Hopefully we break out because this will be the 4th day, okay? And we did. We broke out of the channel. Okay, remember the channel right here before this line got in here? Okay, so we broke out of the channel. We got on top and we're consolidating. That is a bullish environment right there. As long as we stay above this channel we just broke out of, okay? Don't want to have to revisit this. Okay? So there's the 10-minute chart. So and then we had that red candle, we traded it all the way back up. So there's the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. And look, this lasted darn near all day. See this? This would be the 3rd. This is the beginning of the day. This would be the post-market activity is the shaded section. And you can see the 3 rides on top of the 8 almost from 10 o'clock almost till close till we get that rollover right there. Right about 3 o'clock, 2:30 right there. Okay, so I'll be looking for similar circumstances this morning with the bullishness observed of holding the higher ground overnight and in the pre-market. I'll be looking for a 10-minute uptrend, okay, to ensue again right here at the beginning of the day, looking to pick off the bottoms of those 5-minute option candles, okay, not the security candles, the option candles. So what would I like to trade? Well, I like, to start off, I like the 690 calls, okay, that expire on Friday, okay? And I also like probably some 688 0 DTE calls, okay? So now I've already got some 690 calls right here. I got 6. So I don't have to go get them. But on the 688 0 DTEs, I don't have any of those. So what I like to do is come down here to 688 right there and fire it up. And I like to order just one at market price, okay? And I like to stick it in my queue. So I have one first thing right out of the gate because I don't want to have to go look for it, all right? I don't want to have to go look for it. So I'll take a 688. So I'll take 1. And you'll see I'm going to put a market order just for 1. Okay? Because you never know where you're going to get filled with a market order. All right? I'm going to buy 1 right at the open. Should have showed up. Didn't show up. And I know why it didn't show up. Because I turned the trading off. There it is. Okay? So market order. So now that's going to be in my queue when the market opens up. I'm going to get filled for one of those. I don't know where I'll get filled, okay, but I'll have it already, and I won't have to go look for it. And that's how I prepare myself each morning as I go through and I look at, well, what will I want if I want to put, and what will I want if I want to call. I get it ready and put it in my queue so I don't have to go look for it because, hey, the market moves fast right out of the gate, okay? So you want to be prepared. And for me, this is just another way of me being prepared for the market today, is to have that in my inventory or my position, so I don't have to go get it. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way. A little trick that I do. Okay, I'm going to squeeze this. We don't need the trading on the screen anymore. Okay, because we traded that 10-minute uptrend. I'm going to pinch this off. And now you get an idea of what I'm looking for, okay? Because I'm looking for a breakout over the top. And they could waffle back in here a couple more times before breaking out of the top. And my first visit would be look for Woody's resistance from yesterday, which is 685.56. I don't know if it will be 685.56 this morning. I would suspect it's going to be different because the pivot changes. As we moved up and held the higher ground, so will resistance and support change as well. So there's SPY on the 10-minute. Okay, let's go take a look at the game plan. Okay, this is the game plan. We got green erases red. Okay, of course, over 684.90. Okay, got a pivot, 682.30. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. I got red erases green below 679.65. Okay, so if we break the lows, see all those see all those tails down there? Okay, every time I rode price up to the top. Okay, if we break below those tails, I want to be a bear underneath that. Okay, I don't mind us coming down and checking it, but we shouldn't be checking it being since we broke out of the top side. All right, so we'll see what happens. But now, I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. You know that's what I like, okay? You already know what my favorite trade is. If 10-minute uptrend were to, let's say it manifests down here, and they did come down here, were to manifest down here or before the pivot or before the green erases red entry, I'm not opposed to trading that 10-minute uptrend. Okay, I just want to see the bullish 10-minute rubber band candle break before I get in. You know, always have some rules. You know, maybe you want to use the 5-minute bullish rubber band candle because you find out that, you know, on the 10-minute, it seems like the 10-minute one, the second 10-minute bullish, well, the first 10-minute rubber band candle winds up being pretty big, and it almost removes half the move, and by the time you get in, there's very little price action or price movement after that candle. So maybe you want to trade the 5 instead. All right, so when price breaks the first 5-minute bullish rubber band candle, okay, always have some rules. All right, and live by your rules. Okay, you can change your rules, but try to live by your rules. That's the only way you're going to assess if your rules are working for you. Okay, rules are kind of like your guide for making money. Okay, so have a set of rules so you're not just taking any 10-minute uptrend. Okay, you want to have some rules to say only the particular uptrends that break the 5-minute bullish rubber band candle. Okay, that's having a particular set of rules So you're not just taking anything, okay? And you definitely don't want to take uptrends that are, especially startup trends that are right underneath resistance, okay? So think about that too, all right? Unless you're prepared to exit at the top there of the channel, like I was yesterday and the days before. Okay, so there's that 10-minute. Okay, I like 1 DTE and 8 DTE Friday options on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest. And because a lot of open interest usually equates to higher liquidity. More liquidity, again, usually not guaranteed, tighter bid-ask spread. And with that, I mean that's less slippage, and that leaves room for me to get in most of the time, okay? Sometimes the market moves fast, and you might have to hit it with an ask order to buy into a long position, okay? Just saying that doesn't always happen, but me, I like to use bid plus 1 if necessary. I find that works pretty well most of the time. Bid plus 1, all right? And that's only if I want to start something, and after that I switch to bid and bid minus 1. All right, I always like to be bidding for my position. All right, I like a low cost basis. Everybody does. Okay, so I'm no different, right? So that's what the bid's there for, is to, hey, I know I'm going to join others in the bid. If you don't want to wait in line and you want to pay retail, hit the ask, go ahead. It's up to you. Nothing against it. Okay, I just like a low cost basis. All right, and for that, I'm willing to wait. I'm going to be patient, and I'm going to spread out a net of buy orders or bids with limit buy orders underneath, hopefully getting filled. Sometimes I get filled, sometimes I don't get filled. All right, but I live with it because that's what I choose. I know I can my emotional state is much more comfortable when I have a low cost basis. Okay, when I have a high cost basis and price is trading under my cost basis for an extended period of time, okay, I get very squirmish and uncomfortable because it looks like a bear flag to me, and they probably might be going lower, all right? And my cost basis is above it, all right? So for me, it's a very uncomfortable state. But I know if I follow my plan, which is to bid, all right, and get filled lower, keeping my cost basis down, I find myself much more comfortable trading. I don't need to get a full boat on every position. If I get it, I get it. But I'm willing to work to keep a low cost basis. Okay, so that's just a couple of the tricks I'm sharing with you, or the strategies, all right, to help me be successful, is having the patience. Hey, if I only ride, 2 contracts into the all-time high, that's all I get. I can live with that. All right? I wish I'd have gotten more, but did I follow my rules? Yes. Okay? Did the plan work? Yes. Did it make enough? Well, I'm a little greedy sometimes, so probably not enough for me, but I'm happy. I followed my plan. My plan worked, and I can put get another gold star and put it in my journal. All right, because I followed my plan and the plan worked. All right, I gotta love that. All right, so that's what it comes down to. Always try to make a journal. All right, it will help you to stay and keep successful and consistent. All right, journals help you stay consistent by following a set of rules and always doing close to the same thing almost all the time. Okay, so there's SPY on the 10-minute. Okay, That's it. All right. You already know about the 10-minute uptrends. Again, 10-minute downtrend were to manifest up here long before it gets to the red erases green entry. I'm not opposed to trading it. Okay. I just like to see it break the 10-minute bearish rubber band candle. Again, you can choose to use the 5-minute. Okay. I like the 10. All right. But let me just say, the bigger the time frame, the more reliable the chart is and the price action. Okay. The smaller time frames, you always look for guidance from the larger time frames. Okay. So again, 10-minute downtrend under VWAP, I would be looking for a break of the bearish 10-minute rubber band candle. That's just me. You can use the 5-minute if you want as your entry to go lower. Okay. So there's a 10-minute chart there. We did uptrends and downtrends. I like strikes, $2 to $15 out of the money. There's a reason for that. Remember my risk I shared with you earlier. See if I can fire it up again. Okay, my risk, I only have 33,295 to put at risk. Okay, so, buying $5 calls, okay, is really going to chew into my risk, all right? Sometimes I can only get one of those, all right, because I'm only risking 10%. I like to have 2, 3, 10 or 20 contracts when I trade, all right? So for me, my sweet spot is 30 cents per contract on up to $1.20 or $1.40, okay? That's my comfortable range. I know that when they're 30 cents, I can, if I stick to my rules, I can pretty much defend a 30-cent contract. All right, that's going to expire at 4:15. Okay, so as long as I got a trend to go with it that I can work with. All right, so there's the 10-minute. All right, we did the strikes. Again, I like them $2 to $15 out of the money. They're cheaper. More, like I said, they're more comfortable. And I'm not opposed to anybody trading in the money or at the money, okay? Because you will definitely get much better price action than I will get trading out of the money. But I'm more comfortable, okay, not having $5 calls, all right, when that $4 10-minute red candle comes in, all right, if I had 10 of those $5 calls and all of a sudden price moves $4 in 10 minutes, okay, I'm going to tell you right now, that's a $4,000 drop. Now, my 25K account can't handle that, all right? So for that reason, I kind of feel safer and more confident with the lower ones, priced between 30 and $1.40. For me, I can sleep easier, I can trade easier, I don't have as much anxiety. Okay, so that's just me. If you like the at the money or in the money and you're prepared for that drop, they don't happen all the time, but let me just say they do happen. Okay, and you have to be prepared for it. And if you're going to trade that, you better use your stop. Otherwise, that thing could just drop real fast, all right? And it just take out $4,000 right out of your account. You don't want that. You don't want that, okay? So there's a SPY game plan. Let's go to QQQ. QQQ's got a game plan as well, okay? See what we can do here to straighten everything out, okay? Just to kind of adjust things. Okay, the pivot for QQQ, 621.50. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Green erases red over 624.35. Red erases green underneath 618. Again, I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Same thing goes here. Break that 10-minute rubber band candle, the bullish one for the uptrends and the bearish ones for the downtrends, okay? I like one day till expiration and 8-day till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest. I like the liquidity. Liquidity is nice. I want to be able to get in and get out. A lot of QQQ options are being traded, same as SPY. Okay, I like when that I'm not the only one in the game here. Okay, otherwise I'm at the mercy of the market maker. I don't like that. I trade strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. Again, it's the same deal. I like my contracts between 30 cents and a buck 20. Okay, that's the sweet spot for me. That's my comfort zone. Okay. Again, I went over the 10 minutes and the down and the 10-minute uptrends and the downtrend. Same thing goes for QQQ. My favorite trade is the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that resides inside the 2-hour uptrend, that lives inside the daily uptrend, inside the weekly uptrend, inside the monthly uptrend, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, that's my favorite trade. All right, I look for it all the time. And we are in the unique environment today to have both of those, both the QQQ and the SPY, up over their all-time high anchored VWAP. That's nice. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, QQQ closed yesterday. Same thing. Week 1 candle, 10-minute downtrend. Notice it did not go anywhere. All right, it just went down and stopped. And from there, we just went over to the right. So that's consolidation over prior consolidation. That's bullish. Okay, so I'll be looking for a 10-minute uptrend to trigger sometime this morning. I'll be looking to buy the bottoms of option candle calls, the lows, all right, for another 10-minute uptrend to take position and execute sometime. I would look in the pre-market, see where this green line is right there, for price to breach that line. All right, if they close candles up there, 1 or 2 of them, maybe on the 5 or the 10, that would trigger me into buying some calls and taking a long position to move higher. Okay, so there's QQQ and SPY. All right, again, break the pivot or 10-minute bearish rubber band candle. All right, or maybe the 5-minute if that's what you like. All right, to come down here. Again, there's my downside trade. It would have to go under the pivot and probably a 10-minute bearish rubber band candle, break that. And then I would be looking for a downside move puts back down to 618. All right, so there's my trading plan for QQQ and SPY. Okay. I really think with this consolidation that's bullish, there's a high probability we're going to go test the highs. I don't know how far we get. We might just spike and get pushed back immediately. We might spike and get pushed back and more. All right, so be prepared for anything. Truthfully, I hope that we consolidate and start building a consolidation channel on top of the prior consolidation channel. Hopefully, again, up here around 629 all the way back to 624. I would like to see that happen, but we'll see what happens here. That is QQQ. Again, on the QQQ, we got the 2-hour is in an uptrend. Okay, see the candlesticks riding on top of the 3, riding 3 in the candlesticks riding over the 8. Okay, see the green dots. So we got a 2-hour uptrend we left off with on QQQ yesterday. Daily chart. Okay, not this candle, but this one. Okay, QQQ got, let's see what the low is here, 617.59. Low here, 618. Higher low, higher high. Closing over the bullish trap. That's a lot of green candles, wouldn't you say? Nice. Nice looking candles, too. Over the trap, over the rising 17. See the 17 starting to hook there. Okay, here's the high here. We made a higher high, so that's an uptrend. So that's bullish and then an uptrend. Put the quad lines on here. Okay, I'll back way out. Okay, you can see here's the April low. We're at the top of quadrant 4. Okay, we made a higher high. So we're bullish and in an uptrend right there on QQQ. Weekly chart, same as SPY, bullish and in an uptrend. Monthly chart, bullish and in an uptrend. All right, let's go around the horn here. Let's look at some of the other indexes and a few commodities, and let's catch up real quick here. Okay, so IWM. All right, so IWM, this is yesterday's candle, higher low, higher high, over the trap, over the 17, making a higher high, so they're in an uptrend. They're over the pink line, all-time high anchored VWAP, top of quadrant 4, bullish, and in an uptrend over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Okay, Diamond Dow. Price action for Diamond Dow is higher high, higher low, closing over a bullish trap, over the 17 EMA. Okay, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Still in a downtrend. They got a downtrend because see this low right here? They made a lower low. So now they got to make a higher high. That's the high they got to take out. Okay, so they're in a downtrend that's not working. Okay, so again, at the top of quadrant 4, that's bullish, but in a dysfunctional downtrend that's not working. That's Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at FNGU. Okay. FNGU got a high there. They made a higher high. Okay, so they're in an uptrend. Yesterday's candles, this one right here, it's a lower high and a lower low. We closed inside a bullish trap. We closed, see the pink line? See the green body? So we closed above the all-time high anchored VWAP. So we're in the upper third. Okay, well, this is quadrant. Here's the April low. We're in quadrant 4, so that's bullish. All right, and in an uptrend on FNGU. Okay, the only one's not in an uptrend was Diamond Dow. Again, that's a dysfunctional downtrend because ever since making the lows, they've been moving up. See that? Not moving down, moving up. So it's going in the wrong. For a downtrend, that would be going in the wrong direction. Okay, so there's Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at silver. All right, here's silver. This is yesterday's candle, new all-time high. Drop the mic. It doesn't get any better than that. Okay, there's silver on the daily chart. All right, obviously, here's our quad lines all the way back to 2022 back here. All right, so top of quadrant 4, that's bullish and in an uptrend. If it's making new all-time highs, it better be bullish. I don't know how you can not be bullish and in an uptrend if you're making new all-time highs. So there's silver, all right? Unless you're in a downtrend and then somebody makes an offer for your company, and that's the whole reason you're up in quadrant 4 now, that would be one scenario, okay, where you wouldn't be bullish and in an uptrend, all right, is the fact that somebody made an offer while you were in quadrant 1. So it could happen, all right, not very likely. All right, here's gold. All right, again, not the green candle, but the red candle, which is a higher high and a higher low closing. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to say over the bullish trap, over the rising 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. Okay, zoom all the way out here. Okay, you can see the lows. And in an uptrend right there. Okay, let's take a look at UNG. All right, UNG. Okay, you can see here's part of the picture for UNG. Okay, the fact that they're in an uptrend and they're making higher highs is really nothing. Okay, because look, they were up at 135 just after the COVID rally. Okay, 135. Look where we are now. Okay, so they're over the 2025 high anchored VWAP. Okay, Look, people, the bar is not that high. Okay, just because they're over it does not mean that they are doing fantastic, but they are working in the right direction. Okay, and I'm going to put a second set of quad lines on there so you can see what's going on. So yesterday's candle, pretty sure it's not the red candle. It's this green one. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Okay, they were in quadrant one. This was an all-time low. All right, and you can see they're fighting their way out of the lower third. So they're still bearish, but they're in an uptrend. They made an all-time low, then they made a higher low. And from the higher low, they made a higher high, and then another higher low, and a higher high. So they're in an uptrend, all right? But they're still in the lower third. The good news is they're over the 2025 high anchored VWAP. And we have an uptrend line that they're following. So I'm just going to take this off. Okay, I'm going to slide this back just for a little bit. Okay. So, I mean, even though you know this is in the lower third, okay, let's look at it from just a little bit different perspective. We're going to put the quad lines on from the all-time low. So now, if you looked at it here, let's move it back before the breakout. Okay, so you can see, I'm going to zoom in. All right, just with the quad lines on. I'm going to spread it out. All right, make it clear. Okay, so you can see this is the all-time low. All right, and at one point, this was their little universe. Okay. All right, and then they started to close candles in the upper third. See that? This was their universe. Just pretend none of this existed yet. Okay, so that would be bullish if they took out that high, and they did right here. And look, they did at the top of quadrant 4. They did the 4 candle hold. You guys know how much I like the 4 candle hold, because usually after 3 candles, you'll see a lot of indexes and securities just roll over. Okay, so that's a big deal right there. There's a reason that number. All right, and then you see price consolidate. Let's say this is up here in quadrant 4. That's bullish from this perspective here. Okay, that's bullish. All right, and then you see the breakout. So now we get the breakout here. Again, we're up in quadrant 4. That's bullish right up there. Okay, then we go up even higher and we spike the anchored VWAP. Okay, it's not an all-time high anchored VWAP. It's just a 2025 high. All right, and that's bullish. And look how price structure closes. See the closes or remains in the upper third. I'm going to drag the quad lines over one more time. See how it remains in the upper third? That's bullish. Look at the consolidation over the prior consolidation. See the launch pad? Okay, over the prior consolidation. That's bullish environment still. Okay. I mean, I'm just saying this. We just looked at the bigger picture and we're bearish, but take it from this perspective. All right. And then what do? We come back and we get ourselves in a downtrend with this candle here. Okay. Right there, we get ourselves in a downtrend. Okay, because we take out that low. So that puts us in a downtrend. But then we come right back with a vengeance and we take out the high right here with this candle. Look at the space between the candle bodies. Huge, okay? That's a lot for this little stock, for this little secure ETF right here. And then we make a higher high, puts us back into an uptrend. And you can see right now, from the perspective of the all-time low, we're up here in quadrant 4. That would make us bullish, okay, and in an uptrend right there from that perspective, okay? And we're over all-time high anchored VWAP, not all-time high, 2025 high anchored VWAP, okay? So just because All right, backing way out. We're in this bearish territory here. Okay, does not mean you cannot trade UNG in a bullish state of mind or in a bullish uptrend, because it is in an uptrend. It's commencing an uptrend right now. How long it lasts, I don't know. All right, but it's still working. All right, just saying. So I have nothing against you trading it to the upside. It's still working. It's bullish. It keeps going and staying in quadrant 4. It bounces out for one day and then finds its way right back into it. I like that, okay? But right now, for me, just for me, not for you, you can do, I can see your perspective, all right? I'm bearish, but we're in an uptrend right there. And we're about to break out of the bearish zone right there. We break out of the lower third, we're now neutral. Okay, that could happen before the end of the year. We'll see. So there's UNG right there. All right, let's check out USO. All right, USO is still in a downtrend. You see the green line? Obviously, we're still under it. Still in a downtrend. And you got price action for yesterday. Higher low, higher high, closing over, I'm going to call it a bullish cross, but under the falling 17 EMA. Still here at the midpoint. We've been here for a while now, okay, over a month. All right, so still neutral and in a downtrend for USO. Take a look at our technicals, okay? T2101, this is the market breadth, aka participation. Little dip in participation yesterday, but we did melt up higher on the SPY and the QQQ, so I like that. T2101, so that's not concerning, the fact that we dipped a little bit there. T2122, we spent our day chomping around. We fought our way out of the buyer's chop zone. We found ourselves chomping around between the buy zone and the overbought zone. And I love that. I hope we stay there till the end of the year. I don't think it'll happen, but I like this position right there. Going back and forth between these two. Okay? I hope it stays there till the end of the year. That's T2122. T2123. Okay? Rips higher after bull flagging. Okay, you got a bullish gap up. See right here? Bullish gap up. Bears never filled the gap. And we went up and we held the higher ground. That's bullish, people. That's a bullish environment. Okay, we're up over the 200 SMA. I'm a bull, so you know I'm liking that. Okay, from the perspective of the all-time high. This is quite the, this is like a 360 degree, a 180 degree turn from UNG. Okay, now we're working from an all-time high to where we are. Okay, whereas UNG was working from an all-time low, this is from an all-time high. We're still in quadrant 1. Okay, so we're still bearish from the perspective of the all-time high. All right, still bearish. All right, but we're in an uptrend. All right, because we're on the 15-minute chart. And you can see there's a low, there's a high. We made higher highs. That's an uptrend. And we are about to break out of, just like UNG was, we're about to break out of the lower third and now become neutral. That would be wonderful for T21, 23, 15-minute chart. Okay, so we're still in this bearish zone right here on the 15. The good news is we're in an uptrend. I like that. 3-bar chart. Okay, now we take, I'm going to take the quad lines off over here. Okay, now from the perspective of the April low to the all-time high, all the way up here. Okay, you can see price, whether it's on the 15 or whether it's on the 3-bar, it bounced on support. See the head and shoulders neckline support, we bounced there. Okay, we're still in the upper third, so from the bigger perspective, this is still bullish. On the 3-bar chart, okay, we are under the 200 SMA. Not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bull. You guys already know I'm not a bull. All right? I'm not a bear. Not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear. And I'm not a bear. Okay? All right? I'm still bullish on the market. All right? So you can see we're under the 200. And we still have not made a higher high yet. So we're still in a downtrend that's not moving down. Okay? And the 15-minute is in an uptrend. Okay? But we're still bullish up here and in a downtrend that's not moving down. So we'll see. We need the CT2123 rake out a new high right here. Okay? That would be nice. And negate the downtrend and convert the uptrend. Challenge the 200. That's a lot. Can we get it done before the end of the week? I don't know. We got 2 days here. I don't know if it's enough time. Maybe sometime next week. All right, T2123 if it's possible. All right, FNGU. All right, you can see FNGU. We put the quad lines on here. Okay, you can see we're still in the upper third. That's bullish on FNGU. We're no longer underneath major support. All right. All of this green line is major support. The bulls came in and rescued the price action for the major support. We are up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. I love that. We're up over the 200 SMA. All right. You know, I like that because I'm a bull. All right. So that's bullish up there. And we're, like I said, I showed you we're holding the higher ground. Kind of sloppy. And I do like the morning activity kind of holding this area right here. What I don't like is this bearish gap down that never got filled by the bulls. All right, be nice to see the bulls fill that gap today. I might be asking too much. We'll see what happens. All right, after all, we are bullish. We are up over the 200 SMA, and we're over the major support line, and we are consolidating near the highs. I just like to see the bulls fill that gap today. Hopefully they can get that done. We'll see what happens. Economic calendar. There we go. US dollar index, okay? In a downtrend, price goes from there over to the right. So that's big bear flag. All right? So that's a platform from which to dip lower. Okay? Now, in the flag, had they closed candles way up here, they would have broken the bear flag. They were in an uptrend. Okay? This is the 2025 low right here. Okay? Then they made a higher low. And from the higher low, we got a high. We made a higher high. So they started an uptrend. Well, yesterday, okay, so they started a downtrend, okay? And how did they do that? Well, they got a low here. See this low? It's an M pattern. You guys can see it clearly. All right? They got a low here, and they closed below that low. So there's a downtrend right there. So they're now no longer in an uptrend. They're back to a downtrend inside of the bear flag right there. Okay, so there's the US dollar index. Now, we like a weak dollar because it makes our goods and services more affordable in foreign markets. All right, means that they can afford to convert their currency to ours to pay us. If our currency costs a lot, it takes more of their currency. And then what, of course, is our goods and services become too expensive for them to buy or even buy and sell. So it's nice to have a cheap dollar. All right. It sucks for the consumer and us, but for the investor, it's a welcoming sight to have a cheap dollar. On Max Payne for today, 683. All right. And put to call ratio about one put for each call that expires today. Wow, look at that Look at that 800. Look at the volume on the 800 strike. Wow. A lot going on there. Okay, earnings reports. Um, all just familiar names, nothing that's really going to rock and roll the markets, okay? You got some notables here. Toronto, Dominion Bank, Bank of Montreal. Nothing here is going to move the market. Same thing tomorrow. Some familiar names, Victoria's Secret, not offshore. Okay, nothing here is going to move the markets. All right, they may help out in their sectors. Okay, so there's nothing on the earnings front that could disrupt this bullish move that we're experiencing. On the economic calendar for today, today's Thursday. Okay, we got international trading goods and services that comes out at 8:30, so it already came out. Challenger job cut report came out at 7:30. Obviously, we didn't see much difference in price action at 7:30, so it doesn't look like that was anything spectacular. Got jobless claims came out at 8:30. Prices moving back up now, so that didn't seem to disrupt the market. Factory orders comes out at 10. Gas report at 10:30. Tomorrow, the big one would be personal income and outlays at 8:30. That's a delayed report, so that's old data. Same with the international trades of goods and services. Again, that's old data from a prior month ago. Okay, it's a delayed report. Okay, that they're just now getting to us today. Okay, I guess they don't want to overwhelm us. Okay, little here, little there, little here, little there. Okay, trying not to overwhelm us. All right, consumer sentiment 10 o'clock. All right, tomorrow. Personal income and outlays 8:30 tomorrow morning. That's the delayed report. Again, it will be old news. All right, but it will be new news to us because we never got it. Okay, so Baker rig count at 1 o'clock. There it is. Okay, so really not too much if the bull to be obstacles for the bulls other than the price action and tripping over their own feet. Okay, they're free to move it higher. All right, unless of course the people don't want it. Okay, so we'll see what happens here. That's it for me for this morning. Okay, that's well over an hour. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys in 20 minutes and we'll open up the markets and record it. Thank you.